5,000 tickets sold by one player for one night in a stadium that was never built to hold that kind of demand. Not over a week, not across a tournament, for a single Wednesday session in Toronto before she had even walked onto the court. The Canadian Open had no choice but to move her match out of the grandstand and onto center court because the smaller venue physically could not contain the crowd trying to get in. That happened 11 days ago. Now Cincinnati is bracing for the same wave. And there is a case to be made that it will be bigger because the woman responsible for it arrives not as a rising name, but as a champion. Alex Eala won her first WTA title in Washington. She climbed to a career-high ranking of world number 20. She lands in Mason, Ohio as the 17th seed at a tournament she has never played before in her life. And on Saturday, in only the second round, she walks into a match that has nothing to do with rankings and everything to do with unfinished business. Her opponent is Elena Gabriela Ruse of Romania, a name most casual fans will not recognize. But Ruse carries something into this match that no crowd, no ranking gap, and no 17-seed status can erase. A memory of beating this exact player when it mattered most. 2 years ago, at the 2024 US Open qualifying rounds, Ruse dropped the first set to a younger, hungrier Eala, and then did something that revealed exactly who she is as a competitor. She did not fold. She adjusted. She came back to win 6-3, 6-1, 6-4, and in doing so, she closed the door on Eala's first Grand Slam main draw appearance. That result mattered enormously at the time. Eala had been chasing that breakthrough for months, falling short in qualifying at both Wimbledon and Roland Garros. Ruse shut it down in New York. She walked into the main draw. Eala went home and posted about God's plan and the fight not being over. The scoreline faded from public memory. These things always do, until they don't. Now, in a completely different context, with completely different stakes, the same two players are standing across the net from each other again. And the gap between who they were then and who they are now is the entire story. In August of 2024, Eala was ranked around 148th in the world, a former junior Grand Slam champion, still trying to translate that pedigree into an adult career, still bouncing between WTA main draws and the grind of qualifying, still searching for the version of herself that could survive 7 matches in a week at the highest level. Ruse, at that point, was the senior partner in the matchup. She already had a WTA title to her name, the 2021 Hamburg Trophy, won as a qualifier, beaten Andrea Petkovic in the final to claim it. She had already cracked the top 60. She knew what it felt like to beat good players on big stages. The hierarchy between them was clear, and in New York, Ruse enforced it. That hierarchy has now inverted. And the speed of the inversion is what makes this second-round match in Cincinnati genuinely fascinating rather than a routine mismatch on paper. Eala's 2026 season reads like someone hit fast-forward on a career trajectory that was supposed to unfold over 2 more years. She started the season outside the top 40. By late January, she was climbing. By March, she had already collected wins over top 20 opponents. Then came Wimbledon, and the result that changed how the entire tour looked at her. She beat the defending champion, Iga Swiatek, the woman who had lifted that same trophy 12 months earlier, fell to Eala 7-6 in a tiebreak that stretched to 11-9. And then 6-2 in a second set the Filipina controlled from the opening game. That win sent Eala into the 4th round at the All England Club, where she eventually lost to Jasmine Paolini, a tough, seasoned Italian on a good week of her own. But the Swiatek result had already done its work. Eala was no longer a name people watched with curiosity. She was a name people watched with concern. Then came Washington, and the threat became a champion. Look at the road she had to walk to win the Mubadala City DC Open. Zheng Qinwen, a former Grand Slam finalist, Leylah Fernandez, Alina Svitolina, Naomi Osaka, and in the final, Jessica Pegula, the world number 3, the top seed in the draw. Eala beat all 5 of them. Not one was a walkover. Not one was dealing with injury or a collapse in form. She beat Pegula in the final 4-6, 6-4, 6-love, coming back from a set down to dismantle one of the most consistently dangerous players on the entire tour in the deciding set. Consider the company that puts her in. The last player to beat the top 3 seeds en route to a WTA title was Barbara Krejcikova at Dubai in 2023. Eala's 7 wins over top 10 opponents in 2026 are tied for the tour lead, alongside Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina, 2 players operating at the very peak of the sport. Eala is not padding those numbers against a soft draw. she is collecting them against the best players alive. And she is doing it while playing more tennis than literally anyone else on the WTA Tour this year. 56 matches through the first 8 months of 2026. 21 tournaments. Both numbers lead the entire tour. Pegula, 3 years older and further into her physical prime, has played 51. Sabalenka, a veteran who has learned exactly how to manage a schedule, has also played 51. Nobody has put more mileage on their body in 2026 than a 21-year-old, 5'8", left-handed Filipina, who has been quite literally everywhere. Clay in Madrid and Rome, grass in Wimbledon, Birmingham, Berlin, Bad Homburg, hard courts on 3 continents. She has won on all of those surfaces. She has also lost on all of them. And that volume cuts 2 ways heading into this Cincinnati draw. On one side, Eala arrives with a level of match toughness that almost nobody her age possesses. She has been in tight, high-pressure situations against elite opponents over and over this season, and her record in deciding sets has sharpened noticeably as a result. She knows exactly what it feels like to close out a match against a top 10 player, because she has done it 7 times in 8 months. On the other side, there is Toronto. In the round of 64, she lost to Belinda Bencic, 4-6, love 6. A second set that was not competitive. A scoreline that suggests the tank was running dry. Bencic is smart and experienced, but that collapse was not about her opponent's brilliance. It was about Eala running out of gas. Her 7-match win streak, the longest active run on the entire tour at the time, ended in that match. Between Washington and Toronto, she had played 8 matches in roughly 10 days. The body noticed. So the real question heading into Saturday is not simply who is the better player. On paper, that is not close. Eala sits 57 ranking spots above Ruse, with more wins, bigger wins, and more recent wins in 2026 than Ruse has produced in her entire career to date. The real question is which version of Eala shows up. The one who dismantled Pegula in Washington, or the one who disappeared in the second set against Bencic in Toronto. Before answering that, it is worth taking Ruse seriously, because dismissing her would be the easiest mistake to make watching this match. Elena Gabriela Ruse is 28 years old, born in Bucharest, the daughter of a footballer and a former gymnast. She turned professional over a decade ago, and has spent most of that career in the unglamorous middle band of the rankings, hovering between 50 and 120, occasionally spiking into relevance before drifting back out. Her career-high ranking, 51, came in May of 2022. That Hamburg title from 2021 tells you what she is capable of when the week aligns for her. A qualifier who strings together 5 matches of clean, high-level tennis and walks out with a trophy. She has done it once. She is capable of doing it again. Her 2026 season has been uneven but not empty. A 22-8 record, 2 semifinal runs, including one on grass at Bad Homburg, where she qualified into the main draw, and then beat Emma Navarro, at the time ranked around 24th in the world, in straight sets 6-4, 6-2, before losing to Karolina Machova. That Navarro result mattered more than it might look on paper. Ruse had never previously won a set against the American across 3 prior meetings. Something clicked on that surface in that week, and it produced the best tennis of her year. Then last week in Toronto, she came through qualifying, beat Peyton Stearns in a match where she overturned a 4-love deficit in the second set, then lost to Anastasia Potapova in the second round. She arrived in Cincinnati and demolished Magdalene 6-love, 6-3 in the first round. That is not the scoreline of a player low on confidence. What makes Ruse genuinely dangerous in this specific matchup is her variety. She is not a power player trying to overwhelm anyone. She changes pace constantly. She mixes spins, slices low, drops the ball short to pull opponents forward, then lobs over their heads. Her win over Stearns in Toronto was described in tour coverage as cheeky, and that is exactly the right word for her game. She disrupts rhythm rather than overpowering it, and she does it with enough craft that players who rely on timing and tempo can find themselves swinging at hair, especially opponents arriving off a grueling recent schedule. That is a legitimate weapon, and it is precisely the weapon Ruse used to win in New York 2 years ago. That 2024 match is not ancient history. Ruse lost the first set, and then figured out how to strip the aggression away from Eala across the next 2, slowing the ball down, forcing Eala to generate her own pace instead of redirecting Ruse's. That tactical blueprint still exists in Ruse's game, and she is experienced enough to try it again. The difference is that the Eala standing across the net from her now has answers she did not have in 2024. Her movement has improved. Her court construction on hard courts, in particular her use of that left-handed serve to open up angles that right-handed opponents are not accustomed to defending, has become a real weapon rather than a raw tool. Her inside-out forehand, which she now uses to dominate the deuce court, has added a layer of venom that simply was not there 2 years ago. These are not abstract improvements. They are documented across this entire season, from Miami to Washington to Wimbledon. Then there is the factor that no scouting report can quantify: the crowd. The Filipino diaspora has turned Eala's matches into communal events, a trend that built through Indian Wells and Miami earlier this year and reached a genuine critical mass in Washington and Toronto. In Toronto, tournament director Carl Hale told Tennis Channel that Eala had sold upwards of 5,000 tickets on her own, a number that forced the entire schedule to be rearranged around her. The only comparable Wednesday night sellout in Toronto over the past 20 years is believed to have been produced by Serena Williams. That comparison is about box office gravity, not playing ability, but it tells you how unusual this is. A player ranked 20th in the world does not typically dictate the schedule of a WTA 1000 event. Eala does, because the community behind her shows up in numbers tournament organizers are physically forced to accommodate. Cincinnati's Lindner Family Tennis Center is about to find that out for itself. The tournament has already acknowledged it in its own promotional material, singling out Eala among the players whose fans will be flying colors from around the globe in the stands. Tournament director Bob Moran has reportedly been caught off guard by how fast and how large the ticket demand tied to her matches has grown, with reports describing fans buying blocks of tickets before the draw had even been finalized, essentially purchasing access to whatever court and day she would eventually be assigned. For Ruse, stepping into that atmosphere will be unlike anything else in her career. She has played in front of big crowds: Australian Open, Roland Garros, Wimbledon, but those were neutral crowds, invested in the event rather than in one specific player. Saturday's crowd will not be neutral. It will be loud, organized, emotionally invested, and overwhelmingly on the other side of the net from her. That is a form of pressure no statistical model accounts for. Some players thrive inside hostile environments, and Ruse has the age and mileage to potentially feed off it rather than shrink from it. She is 28, not 20, and she has been on tour long enough to know that crowd noise is temporary while points are permanent. But knowing that does not neutralize it. Every Eala winner is going to produce a roar. Every Ruse error is going to produce a collective exhale of relief from thousands of people who traveled specifically to see this. For Eala, that same crowd is both fuel and a trap. The energy visibly lifted her during the Pagula final in Washington. Fist pumps, direct engagement with the stands, focus tightening rather than scattering. But crowd energy can also manufacture urgency, a sense that every single point is a referendum, that dropping a service game is a catastrophe instead of a routine fluctuation in a long match. Against a player like Ruse, who is specifically engineering the match to slow down and drain momentum, that kind of urgency is exactly the trap. If Eala feels the crowd wanting quick, decisive points and tries to deliver them on demand, she plays directly into the forcing errors Ruse is built to exploit. The smarter path is patience, staying with rallies longer than instinct wants to, using that left-handed serve to dictate terms rather than endpoints early, stepping inside the baseline, when Ruse floats a short ball instead of chasing a highlight reel winner, when solid depth will do the job. If Eala plays that version of the match, the ranking gap should tell in the end. Ruse simply does not generate enough raw power to hurt Eala when Eala is selecting her moments well. What Ruse needs is an impatient, overeager, or physically depleted opponent. Two of those three are within Eala's control. The third, the physical question, the residue of Toronto, is the one genuine unknown walking into Saturday. There is also a longer-term stake sitting underneath this match that has nothing to do with the scoreboard. Eala is not defending any ranking points in Cincinnati. She withdrew from this event last year with a shoulder injury, which means every round she wins here is pure gain. A direct push toward a potential seed inside the top 16 at the US Open. A top 16 seed means a theoretically softer early draw in New York, which means fewer brutal early tests, which means a real chance at reaching the second week of the year's final major. Cincinnati is not a standalone tournament for her. It is a positioning event for the tournament that matters most this summer. Ruse, meanwhile, is playing with house money. Ranked 77, already through a strong first-round win. She has nothing structurally to lose and everything to gain. A win over a seeded player here justifies her entire week on its own. And that kind of freedom lets her swing loose and play the unorthodox, disruptive tennis her game is built for, without the weight of expectation sitting on every shot. All of which points to the same conclusion. This match will very likely be decided in its first 20 minutes. If Eala holds her opening service games comfortably and gets an early look at a break point, the quality gap should assert itself quickly. Ruse does not have the firepower to claw back a deficit against a locked-in Eala with the crowd rolling behind her. But if those opening games run tight, if Ruse finds her rhythm early with the slice and the drop shots and the constant changes of pace, if Eala looks even a half step slow off the Toronto fatigue, and the crowd's energy starts carrying a nervous edge instead of a celebratory one, then something far less predictable opens up. 2 years ago in the qualifying rounds at Flushing Meadows, Ruse solved Eala after losing the first set. She found the gears. She exploited the inexperience sitting underneath the talent. She closed the door and walked through it. The player standing across the net from her this Saturday in Cincinnati is not that teenager anymore. Not in ranking, not in shot making, not in nerve. But Ruse has walked into this exact emotional configuration before. The younger opponent with everything to prove, the partisan crowd, the sense that something larger than one match is unfolding. And the last time she stood in that exact spot, she did not blink. She won. Whether that memory turns out to be a weapon or an irrelevance on Saturday depends entirely on which Alexandra Eala walks onto that court. And by the time the first 20 minutes are over, everyone in that stadium and everyone watching from thousands of miles away will already know the answer.